Wow, stories.
Am I the idiot for not paying for my daughter to go on vacation with us because she didn't do the small chores that I asked? My husband and I have 5 kids, 4 girls, 20, 17, 12, 5, and 1 boy, 10. This post is mostly about my oldest daughter. My oldest was in school full-time, but this semester she went from 14 credits to 6 because 2 of her classes, math and science, were too hard. She's currently taking 2 dance classes, which are both online and take approximately an hour per week combined. I'm taking one of them with her so I see how she does them. 1 hour is being generous. She also works at the post office 12 hours per week, but besides that she doesn't have any commitments. We haven't been on a family vacation in years, so this year we're going all out. We're spending 2 weeks at an all-inclusive resort in Mexico. The older 2 were going to get their own room. We were going to fly business there and plenty of excursions. We've been having a hard time with my oldest, really over the past couple years, but especially over the past week. She's supposed to walk the dog every day, a 10-15-minute walk, but she does it maybe once a week if we're lucky. I'll ask her if she could pick up groceries on her way back from hanging out with her friends and be home by a certain time so I could make dinner and she'll show up 3 hours later than when she said she would, or I'll ask her to take some meat out of the freezer and she'll forget. I send her multiple reminders. So far this week, on Monday, I asked her to walk the dog and pick up some medicine for my 12-year-old at the shopping center that she was already going to. She did neither. On Tuesday, I asked her to walk the dog and take the turkey out of the freezer for dinner. She did neither, and she left the gas stove on for 6 hours. Wednesday, I asked her to take the trash out, walk the dog, and pick the younger 3 up from school. She didn't do any of those things. I ended up having to ask my 75-year-old neighbor to pick the kids up. By the way, this girl doesn't pay for poop. We pay for her school, her car insurance, maintenance, phone bill, etc., and she still can't be bothered to help out the family. Yesterday, after I got home from work and picked the kids up from the neighbor's house, I told my oldest that we will not be paying for her to go on this vacation, and if she keeps this up, she'll have to get out and try living in the real world. She's furious and is saying it's hard for her to do these things because of her ADHD, and my husband is saying I'm being too hard on her. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She's old enough to be responsible for her actions and inactions, and could still set reminders, write notes, and make to-do lists. But I'm curious how long she's been diagnosed with ADHD and if she's receiving treatment. Do you think it's possible she could be showing you attitude and need more help with her condition? Not the idiot. It sounds like your daughter has been given constant reminders to get things done, but still isn't doing them anyways. I do think it may have been more effective to warn her that if this were to continue, you wouldn't pay for the vacation instead of immediately jumping to this consequence. That way, she would have a heads up for this behavior and have more time to get it in check. Am I the idiot for not backing up my husband when he ordered our adult daughter go to her room? My husband and I have a 22-year-old daughter, Sienna, that lives with us while she attends college. Sienna and I have always been very close. We're a lot alike, share similar interests, etc. We're also both very stubborn. I've always been okay with her voicing her opinions, challenging me, etc. I don't want her to blindly respect me. We occasionally have a tiny tiff or whatever, but we always make up rather quickly. My husband grew up in a very different household. He never would have questioned his mother even as an adult. They never had any arguments and rather just kept everything bottled in. It's been very hard for him to accept that it's healthy for Sienna to voice her opinions and to not blindly accept our word. Before anyone asks, he has refused therapy, and I don't see him budging on the issue. My husband often gets irritated when Sienna and I have a disagreement, telling us both to stop, he doesn't want to hear it, etc. I've told him before this is healthy communication. Sienna doesn't speak to him that way out of respect, knowing he doesn't want to have that kind of dynamic. So it shouldn't matter if she does it with me. Again, we've had several discussions with him about respecting our relationship and how it works. Also keep in mind, Sienna and I are not arguing heavily every day. We may just have a minor disagreement, or we'll roll our eyes at one another, joke around, etc. a few times a week. Last night we sat down for dinner. Sienna was in a bit of a mood as she had a bad day at school. She had already told me she didn't want to talk about it, so I was respecting her. She ended up getting a little snappy when I asked her if she wanted to do something. I just told her there were better ways of answering that, and she rolled her eyes. I was ready to let it go when my husband jumped in and told Sienna to go to her room for being disrespectful. She said she's an adult and he said she lives rent-free in his house. She needs to listen. I told him that I didn't mind, and he said that he didn't want to hear this attitude. I asked him to leave the table with me and we went to the other room. I once again pointed out that I didn't mind Sienna being a little short with me, as I get why. I also said I know she and I will discuss it later and she'll apologize. We all have bad days. He said he's tired of hearing us squabble and she talks to me like this. I said I'm tired of him trying to control my relationship with her. By his own admission, Sienna won't talk to him that way, so why does it matter? I said Sienna wasn't going to her room unless she wanted to. End of discussion. In the end, my husband went up to our room. He hasn't spoken to me since and things are a little tense. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your daughter is a 22-year-old adult. The days of being sent to her room are long over. If your husband thinks sending a 22-year-old to her room is acceptable, then he should reevaluate whether he wants her to live there rent-free or at all, because if she does live there, he needs to accept that she will be treated as an adult and not a child. You're the idiot. Sounds like you've made excuses for your daughter being a certain way, and now she's an adult, treats you however she feels. I feel bad for your husband, and it sounds as if he has tried to parent her and stop that behavior and you didn't let him. I'd be pissed if my kids talked to their mother a certain way in front of me too.